the Department of State released new AILA liaison notes. I had just done a whole podcast on the spring version that was just released like June 6th or something like that. And then June 9th, the Department of State released its own version of it of the summer recording. So it's different from that one. So it's kind of back to back. We got the spring one late, I guess. And there wasn't that much stuff in there. So I'm not going to dedicate a whole episode. I'm just going to mention a couple parts in here. They're like 3 or 4 parts. And they're mostly procedural kind of help, which I wanted to mention. It's good for you to review on your own. Just Google Department of State AILA Liaison Committee meeting, June 9th, 2022. It's there. And this isn't even an AILA doc. This is Department of State stuff has to be public because it's government stuff. So it's all there everywhere. One note is they're asking about documents that were taken to, let's see, what is it? The question was, NBC recently started requiring applicants to submit documents that are not required under the FAM or inappropriate for that individual's particular circumstances. I've been getting that a lot too. They've been asking for petition or birth certificates in like marriage cases. It's kind of weird. But NBC follows up, follows the guidance in 9FAM 504.4-. I'm going to skip that kind of stuff. But for collecting police certificates from countries in which the individual previously resided for a year. Okay, so they're going to police certificates. What did I want to mention about here that was special? Essentially, I'm not sure why I took notes on that. It's pretty basic. If you live in a country more less than 1 year, NBCstate.gov, blah, 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 has requirements for that. Here, NBC process for affidavit support eligibility remains the same under 9FAM, blah, blah. NBC will request W-2s for periods of employment if a sponsor submitted a copy of a tax return, regardless of the filing status, or if the sponsor submitted an original tax transcript and is using his or her income to meet the poverty guidelines. So in other parts, they had said that if you use a tax transcript, you don't need to send a W-2. But here it sounds like they're saying they do need to do it. So just always get the W-2 and 1099s from the clients and put it in there. Another part says NBC is unable to create a case or issue a case number until it receives an approved petition from USCIS. There is a known issue with some approved petitions transferring from USCIS to NBC. USCIS has made changes to their system. This is people not getting like notices. But the reminder is, if USCIS did not receive your client's approved petition, we recommend emailing nbcresearch@state.gov for assistance. That's the place to go. Now, I had a person do a consultation, and they didn't hire me, but I just said, okay, contact nbcresearch@state.gov, see what's going on. And they just got a response like 6 weeks later saying, go through the NBC portal and submit your question there. So you really want to double, even though they don't want you to do this, you want to double it up. You go to nbcresearch@state.gov, make the request saying we haven't got anything, and then go around and do it on the portal page. So you have 2 different ways on that they're getting it. Another part talked about the DS Form 260 that can't be updated. As you know, once you submit the DS 260 as locked, and only the embassy can open up later, usually after the interview. They're saying our system is not designed to allow the DS 260 to be reopened after it has been received and reviewed by NBC. Reopening would take the case out of intended processing path, and further, if NBC were to reopen a DS 260 after a case was documentarily completed, the case would lose its spot in line for scheduling, as a newly documentarily complete date would be applied to the case. So it's very interesting. So if they did reopen it, it's going to take you out of order for scheduling purposes. So at least at the earliest time they could open a DS-260 is after the embassy schedules an appointment, because at that point they're not in the queue anymore. I thought that was interesting. Instead, once the case has been scheduled, the post can be informed that there are changes that need to be made to DS-260, and the post can reopen the document to allow updates to be made through the CIAC portal. Now, they say this. I have a case that was the Iranian case that went to travel ban in 2016. They just scheduled the interview 6 years later now. And he's going to interview next week, actually. And his DS-260 is still old from 2016. And we've emailed them and say, listen, we need to update this. This is like, there's new information. Nothing too groundbreaking, just address change. And like the petitioner would, the green card is mailed to the petitioner address that's changed, that kind of stuff. But they haven't been responding. So I'm guessing they're going to interview and they're going to reopen it or something. Likewise, they're saying the visa applicant can and should inform the officer at the interview of any information on the form that has become outdated, so the form can be annotated or amended. So we got to tell the guy, listen, that's just an annoying thing that's there. Nomenclature protocols for uploading documents to CIAC. So what should you name your doc files when you upload stuff to the NBC system? They say the file names that the case parties enter are not displayed in our systems. Only the document type is displayed. What is most important is that the case parties, 1, upload multi-page documents as one file, 2, upload documents right side up. Okay. 3, select the appropriate document type, label, and SEAC. 4, upload only documents that are required for the case, no pictures or superfluous documents. And 5, ensure documents are uploaded on the right sponsor or applicant name. So this is important, obviously, all of that. The important thing is a case. I used to be very specific in the case style. I mean, I just read this week, but I'm not going to care as much to make it user friendly for them. I just use my internal office in case no one could try to name it. So that's important to know. But sometimes when you upload it as other, you kind of want to have in that description box the explanation of the file is in case the officer opens it and can't figure it out on their own. That's something to do. Another thing happening. Talking a lot about NBC is I have cases where it's a one embassy and we switch it up, but the case has already been documented, so qualified, everything's uploaded, but didn't move the case. The new embassy is, this week saying, because I have 2 cases that's happened. They're saying we can't access the embassy documents because they're associated with the previous embassy. Please re-upload the SEAC all the documents. So then I just go and re-upload. There's double of everything in this, in our view, where we see it, but for them, it's the only these new documents. It doesn't make sense that the NBC just switches stuff up, should work out, but this is the stuff that's happening. So I wanted to just make some quick notes. I don't think there's anything else that I thought worth talking about there, but that's that.